Have you ever noticed how stress can sneak up on you the moment you wake up? Maybe it's a tightness in your chest before you even reach for your glasses, or that little knot in your stomach as you think about the day ahead. If you've felt that recently, you're not alone. After 60, our bodies have already carried us through so much careers. Families, moves, health scares, the whole roller coaster, and while we've gained wisdom, stress can still tug at our energy, our sleep, and even our lifespan. Today, let's sit together. Imagine you and me at the kitchen table, a warm cup of tea between us, and talk about how to gently turn that stress dial down. This isn't about becoming a different person or trying some complicated routine. It's about small, kind changes that help your body and mind feel safer so you can live longer and better. Here's where we're going in this series. We'll look at simple daily habits that calm your nervous system, protect your heart and brain, and help your body repair itself. We'll talk about breathing that actually works, sleep that truly restores, movement that gives you strength without wearing you out, connection that lifts your mood, and a few practical stress filters you can switch on right away. Think of this as building a calm house brick by brick. And because houses need strong foundations, let's start with the one thing you can do anywhere, anytime, without any equipment, your breath. Before we dive into fancy techniques, try this with me right now. Loosen your jaw, uncross your legs, let your shoulders drop like you're hanging your coat on a hook. Now breathe in through your nose for a gentle count of 4, hold for 2, and breathe out for a count of 6. Don't force it. Do that 3 times. Notice anything? Maybe a little space opened behind your eyes, or your heart doesn't feel like it's tapping on your ribs quite as hard. That longer exhale tells your body, we're safe. When your body believes that message, your blood pressure eases, your digestion works better, and your brain stops spraying stress chemicals like a garden hose. It's not magic, it's wiring. Short inhales tend to wake you up. Long, slow exhales settle you down. If counting feels awkward, try what I call the quiet sigh. Take a comfortable breath in through your nose, then add a tiny sip of air on top like topping off a glass, then sigh out slowly through your mouth, as if you're fogging a window. 2 or 3 of those can take the edge off a tense moment. Do it when the phone rings and you feel your shoulders jump. Do it when your grandchild's toy explodes into glitter and your living room looks like a disco. Do it while you're waiting on hold, when traffic stalls, or right before you close your eyes at night. The goal isn't to breathe perfectly. It's to give your nervous system little breaks throughout the day, so stress never piles up into a mountain. Now let's talk about sleep, because stress and sleep are like 2 kids on a seesaw. When one goes up, the other usually goes down. And after 60, you may have noticed sleep shifts a bit. Maybe you wake earlier than you used to, or you wake in the night and your thoughts start doing the tango. The first step is to stop fighting your sleep like it's a stubborn mule. Instead, teach it to come to you. Give your brain a rhythm to trust. Pick a rise time you can keep, yes, even on weekends. Open the blinds or step outside for morning light, even 5 minutes. Morning light is like a gentle nudge to your inner clock saying, hey, we're awake now. Let's save the melatonin for tonight. If you can, get a bit of natural light again in the late afternoon, which helps your body line up its evening wind down. Create a simple evening ritual, not a complicated list that stresses you out. Think of it like landing a plane, not slamming on the brakes. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Turn the TV volume down a notch or switch to something like a nature show. Old sitcoms that make you smile. Soft music that makes your shoulders drop. Trade late-night news for a quick summary earlier in the day, so you're not trying to digest headlines at bedtime. Keep the bedroom a little cooler, and if your feet get cold, use warm socks. Warm extremities help your core body temperature drop, which invites sleep. Keep a notepad by the bed for nagging thoughts. If your mind starts listing tasks, write them down with the promise, I'll look at you tomorrow. That clears space. The way you might clear dishes before dessert. If you wake in the night, don't punish yourself by staring at the clock. Turn it away. Sit up and do a gentle reset for 10 minutes, slow breathing. A few pages of something calming, or a simple body scan where you notice your toes, your calves, your knees, all the way up to your scalp, relaxing each part like switching off little lights. Then slip back under the covers and let your breath lengthen again. Remember, a few awakenings aren't failure. Resting quietly still helps the body repair. Be kind to yourself in those moments. Kindness is a powerful stress reducer all by itself. The next piece of our calm foundation is movement. And before you say, my knees won't let me, stay with me a second. We're not training for a marathon. We're training for life, getting out of a chair easily, carrying groceries without wobbling, moving with confidence so your brain gets the message, we're strong, we're safe. Stress chemistry fades when your muscles move, because movement signals that your body is using that pent-up energy for something useful. Start smaller than you think you need to. 5 minutes of gentle marching in place while the kettle boils. 2 laps down the hallway and back after lunch. Stand up and sit down from a sturdy chair 10 times, hands on the armrests if you like. If you have access to a pool, water walking is kind to joints and surprisingly effective at brightening your mood. On days when you feel stiff, try what I call the hinge and reach. Stand with feet hip-width apart. Hold a counter or chair for balance if needed. Bend slightly at the hips like you're closing a drawer with your backside. Then slowly straighten and reach one arm overhead, switching arms each time. Do 10 gentle repetitions. This wakes up your hips and spine, opens your chest, and gives your lungs room to expand. If balance feels shaky, keep one hand on that counter and move slowly. There's no hurry. Steady beats speedy every time. If you enjoy walking, wonderful. Short, regular walks are better than a long, punishing trek once a week. Pick a route you like: a leafy block, the mall before it gets busy, or laps around your living room on rainy days. Add a friend if you can. Conversation naturally slows your pace to something sustainable, and social connection itself is stress medicine. If you're using a cane or walker, let it be your tool, not your limitation. Tools help us do more with less strain, which is exactly the idea. As you add these little movements, watch how they ripple into other parts of your day. Your appetite might steady, your sleep might deepen, your mind might feel clearer after even a few minutes of walking or gentle stretching. And if you miss a day or two because life happens, don't let that old voice say, "Well, I've ruined it." You haven't. You're building a habit like stacking pebbles. If one pebble drops, you just pick it up and keep stacking. The body loves consistency more than intensity, and consistency lowers stress like nothing else. You might be surprised how these 3 simple shifts, softer breathing, steadier sleep, and kinder movement, start to change the background noise of your day. The tightness in your shoulders eases sooner. The sigh after a phone call arrives a little faster. The afternoon slump doesn't punch quite as hard. You feel more like the pilot of your day and less like a passenger gripping the armrest. And as that feeling grows, it opens the door to the next layer of stress reduction, the part that comes not just from what we do with our bodies, but from how we shape our attention and our connections. When you're ready, we'll keep building on this calm foundation, one friendly step at a time. As your body finds an easier rhythm, the mind often follows, and this is where stress really begins to loosen its grip. Think of your attention like a kindly dog. If you don't give it a job, it will wander and dig up the flower bed. Give it a simple job and it will settle at your feet. One gentle job is noticing, not judging. When a worry pops up about a bill, a doctor's visit, a family issue, try naming it out loud in a calm voice. Planning thought, or what if thought, or simply, fear is visiting. Labeling a thought doesn't solve the problem, but it stops your brain from believing that every thought is urgent and true. You've probably done this for children. That's a big feeling, you say, and suddenly the feeling gets smaller. Treat yourself with the same soft authority. You can practice this anywhere. Sit with your tea and pick a sound to anchor to the hum of the fridge, birds outside, distant traffic. Let your attention rest on that sound for a few breaths. When your mind wanders, and it will, just say, "wandering," and come back. That tiny act of returning is the push-up for your attention. Over days and weeks, it strengthens the part of your brain that keeps you steady under pressure. It's not about emptying your mind. It's about learning that you can choose where to place your attention, even when worries knock loudly. Some people like a practical container for worry, and you might too. Choose a consistent worry window each afternoon, say 15 minutes after lunch. During that time, you're allowed to worry on purpose. Write down every concern, even the small ones: the squeaky door, a friend who hasn't called back, the rising price of eggs. Circle the items you can act on today or schedule for another day, and put a star next to the ones that are out of your hands. When worries arrive outside the window, you can say, "Not now. I'll see you at 1:30. This simple boundary often quiets the mind at bedtime because your brain trusts that worries have a place to go. And if the window arrives and you've got nothing to worry about, give yourself the gift of a short walk or a call to someone you like. That's progress, not a missed appointment. Speaking of calls, connection might be the most underrated stress reducer of all, and it does not require a crowd. You don't need to become the life of the party to gain the benefits. What you need are reliable strands, A few sturdy threads that make you feel seen. Think small and regular. A 5-minute daily check-in with a neighbor, the cashier who knows your name, the friend who loves the same old radio show. These micro-connections tell the body we're part of a village. When your nervous system believes you're not alone, it doesn't scan as hard for danger. Even short, predictable contact lowers the background noise of stress. If starting feels awkward, try a 3-2-1 habit for a week. 3 days, you send a quick message or leave a short voicemail, nothing fancy. Just thinking of you. How's your day? 2 days, you have a real-time chat, even for 3 minutes. 1 day, you share something together. A walk, a cup of coffee, watching the same show, and laughing about it later. If you use technology, let it serve your heart and not the other way around. Put your contacts on the first screen and the news app on the second. Keep your ringer gentle and your notifications quiet, so your phone feels like a front porch bell, not a fire alarm. Let's touch that news topic more carefully, because information can be helpful, and it can also be a faucet that never turns off. Picture stress like filling a sink. A little water helps you wash dishes. A flood ruins the kitchen. If you notice that headlines tighten your shoulders, set simple filters. Choose a time once a day to catch up, perhaps late morning, after you've moved your body and eaten. Read from 1 or 2 sources you trust, and stop at the first sign of overload. If a story sticks in your mind and makes it hard to sleep, ask yourself, is there a kind action I can take? Maybe it's a donation, a supportive note to someone affected, or a plan to volunteer. A small action turns helplessness into purpose, and purpose drains stress like pulling the plug from the sink. At home, shape the environment so it calms you before you even think about it. Your rooms don't need to look like a magazine. They need to be easy to live in. Keep the chair you love clear of piles so it welcomes you to read or rest. Put a soft lamp where you settle in the evening. Store frequently used items at waist height to reduce bending and reaching, which quietly stresses the body. If papers multiply on the table, place a wide bowl or pretty basket there as a landing spot, and once a week, sort while listening to music. Every little simplification whispers safety to your nervous system. Fewer snags, fewer jolts, fewer moments of, where is that thing? The calmer your surroundings, the less your stress system fires over small frustrations. Food plays a role too, not by perfection, but by steadiness. Think of meals as signals, not just fuel. A plate with color greens from spinach or peas, reds from tomatoes or berries, golden eggs or chicken, beans that keep you full, tells your body that supplies are steady. When blood sugar doesn't swing wildly, your mood steadies and your stress hormones stop yo-yoing. If appetite is low in the morning, start with something gentle like yogurt with a spoon of oats and a few walnuts, or warm toast with peanut butter and banana. In the afternoon, when many people feel an energy dip, make tea and add a protein-bite cheese and apple slices, hummus with crackers, a hard-boiled egg. You're not dieting, you're signaling we're cared for. There's also the medicine of a few minutes outside. Even a short step onto the balcony or a slow walk to the mailbox can change your inner weather. Look for one living thing and pay attention to it. A tree's shifting leaves, a bird tilting its head, a stubborn dandelion pushing through a crack. That tiny moment of awe isn't childish. It's biologically soothing. It widens your perspective, like opening a window in a stuffy room. If getting out is difficult, bring nature in. A potted herb by the sink, a small vase with a branch. Even nature videos with real sounds can lower your heart rate. Your senses are part of your nervous system. Treat them kindly. When emotions swell, and they do, gentle expression helps them move through instead of lodging in your chest. Some people like a 2-chair talk. Sit down, place another chair opposite, and imagine the version of you who is worrying sits there. Speak to them the way you'd speak to a dear friend. You're scared about the test results, and that makes sense. I'm here. We have a plan. We'll take it one step at a time. Hearing your own voice say steady words is surprisingly powerful. If talking out loud feels odd, write a letter to yourself and sign it with your name. Compassion is not fluff. It lowers stress chemistry in real bodies. If you live with a partner or family, consider tiny agreements that keep the household calm. Decide that the first 5 minutes after someone comes home are for warmth, not logistics. A hello, a hug, a glass of water offered. Make a rule that serious conversations don't begin when anyone is exhausted or hungry. Choose a phrase that means, let's pause, like time out for tea, and honor it. These rituals aren't childish. They are wise shortcuts around unnecessary strain. You might find joy in small creative acts, too. Lightly humming while you tidy, Doodling while you talk on the phone, arranging photos into a simple album, teaching your hands a new pattern with yarn or wood. These aren't hobbies for later. They are active ways of returning your nervous system to the present, where the lion isn't actually in the room. Creativity tells your brain, we build, we're safe, we're alive, and the product doesn't have to be perfect. A lopsided scarf keeps you just as warm. As these practices weave into your days, notice how choice returns to you. You start choosing which thoughts to follow and which to let pass. You choose when to engage with the world and when to rest from it. You choose the company that lifts you and the rooms that soothe you. Choice is the opposite of chronic stress. It's the feeling of steering again, hands easy on the wheel, breath steady, eyes soft but clear. And with that steadiness growing, it becomes natural to look at another layer of living longer and calmer. The one that taps into meaning and the simple promises you make to yourself and keep. When calm starts to feel more familiar, something lovely becomes possible. You can lean into meaning, not the grand, life-defining kind that requires a plane ticket or a new degree, but the small, steady kind that greets you each morning. A simple promise you make to yourself and keep is a powerful stress reducer. Maybe it's, I move my body for 5 minutes before breakfast, or I send one kind message before noon, or I step into daylight every day I can. Keeping a promise builds trust with yourself, and self-trust is like a warm coat. Suddenly wine doesn't bite as hard. Choose one promise that's laughably doable. Put it where you can see it. A note on the fridge, a reminder by the kettle. Let the feeling of keeping it soak in. That feeling tells your nervous system, we do what we say. We're dependable. Stress quiets around people it trusts, and you are a person you get to trust. Gratitude can sit beside meaning without any fuss. Not the forced kind, not a bright smile pasted over a hard day, but a gentle noticing. The mug that fits your hand perfectly, the chair that doesn't wobble, the neighbor's ridiculous hat, the way sunlight slides across the floor. If you like, keep a small done and noticed card on the table. Each evening, write one thing that went right and one tiny thing you appreciated. You're not making a scrapbook, you're feeding your attention a balanced diet. Over time, your mind becomes quicker at catching goodness, the way your eyes get quicker at catching a grandchild in a game of peekaboo. The more quickly you notice what helps, the less your stress system needs to stay on high alert. Health habits fit in here, too. Not as a lecture, but as another way to send safety letters to your body. If caffeine leaves you jittery, treat it like a spice used lightly earlier in the day and see how your sleep thanks you. Alcohol, particularly late at night, may feel relaxing, but often scrambles sleep and stirs up nighttime awakenings. Keep it modest and earlier, and your heart and brain will repay you with steadier nights. Keep a friendly water bottle nearby. A few sips through the day smooth out headaches, fatigue, and that vague, edgy feeling that sometimes appears for no reason at all. None of this has to be perfect. It only has to be kind and consistent. Your body also speaks through posture and pace. Imagine someone you love watching you walk across the room. Could they tell just by your posture that you're safe? Try a small reset. Stand with feet under your hips, soften your knees, let your tailbone feel heavy, and imagine a ribbon gently drawing the crown of your head upward. Roll your shoulders up and back, then let them settle. Take 3 easy breaths with a slightly longer exhale. This position, tall but soft, signals no emergency. And pace matters. Rushing constantly tells your nervous system that you're late to a life or death event. Give yourself more minutes than you need for common tasks. Lay out the morning pills the night before. Put the coat by the door, the keys in one friendly bowl, the list in a pocket. Fewer last-second scrambles mean fewer stress jolts, and that saves wear on the heart. Boundaries are another quiet medicine. They are simply decisions that protect the calm you've worked for. You might decide that you won't answer the phone during your first cup of tea, or that you'll let unknown numbers roll to voicemail, or that certain conversations happen only after both people have eaten. You can even make a boundary with your own thoughts. When a what-if story starts snarling, you say, not helpful, and pick up your breath or your anchor sound. A boundary is not a wall. It's a garden fence with a gate. You're still connected, but you decide when to open the gate. That choice gives your nervous system a rest from constant vigilance. Some people find spiritual practices helpful, and they don't have to be tied to any particular tradition. A short prayer, a line of poetry read aloud, a moment of stillness before meals, or placing a hand over your heart and quietly saying, May I be calm. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. If you feel comfortable, you can extend that wish to someone you love, then to someone you find difficult. Extending kindness, even in your imagination, lowers tension in your own body. It's a way of softening tight places without pretending the world is softer than it is. Purpose can also show up as usefulness, and usefulness doesn't need to be big to be real. Mending a hem so someone doesn't trip, sharing a recipe that always works, watering a community garden, reading with a child at the library, writing a postcard to a friend, or teaching someone a skill you forgot you had. These acts shrink stress because they connect energy to action. The body loves that loop. See, care, do, rest. If getting out is a challenge, usefulness can be digital or at home. Recording a story from your childhood for the family, organizing photos and labeling names, writing small how-to notes for future generations. Your life is a library. Opening even one shelf is a gift to others and a balm to you. Laughter is a sneaky healer, even the quiet kind that bubbles up without fanfare. Keep a folder paper or on your phone where you collect small things that crack you up. A silly text, a comic, a family photo where everyone's eyes are shut. When stress starts to climb, take a minute with that folder. You don't need to roar with laughter. A smile that reaches your eyes changes your chemistry, loosening muscles and smoothing breath. If watching a funny clip at night keeps you up, move the folder to daytime. Humor in daylight is like sunshine on laundry. It lifts the damp and leaves things lighter. It helps to remember that some stressors can't be removed, only related to differently. Illness, grief, caregiving, financial shifts, these aren't solved by a breathing exercise. But your relationship to them can change. Picture carrying a heavy bucket. If you grip it with straight arms and hold it far from your body, it feels impossible. If you bend your elbows and nestle it close to your center, suddenly it's still heavy but bearable. Practices like softer breathing, steady sleep, small movement, attention training, connection, friendly food, nature, simple environments, and meaningful promises are how you bend your elbows. They don't deny the weight. They help you carry it without tearing yourself apart. As days gather, you'll notice small signs that your stress system trusts you more. You catch yourself pausing before reacting. You choose the softer voice with yourself and others. You move a little more and sleep a little deeper. You greet the morning with one friendly promise and keep it. These are not minor wins. They are the bricks of a longer, better life. The science behind it is simple. Calmer stress chemistry protects your heart, steadies blood pressure, supports the immune system, and keeps your brain clearer. But you don't need a study to tell you what your body will show you. You feel better when you live this way. If this conversation has helped, I'd love to hear which small promise you're choosing for tomorrow. Share it in the comments so others can borrow it, and tell us what's working in your life right now to soften stress. Your idea might be the one that helps someone sleep tonight. If this felt useful, tap like so it reaches more people, and subscribe for more simple, gentle ways to support your health and happiness. You've earned a life that feels steady and bright. Here's to longer years filled with easy breaths, kind choices, and moments that make you smile for no reason at all. There's one more layer we can add that ties everything together when life gets messy, because life will get messy. Think of it as your calm-in-a-pocket plan, the thing you reach for when the unexpected happens and your shoulders jump before your brain even knows why. Start by choosing a tiny signal that means pause. It could be placing your hand on your heart, or touching your thumb to your forefinger, or quietly saying a single word you like: soft, steady, ease. The signal is your doorway. The moment you use it, lengthen your exhale, then choose one small action that fits the moment. If you're in a waiting room and nerves kick up, soften your gaze and count 5 slow breaths. If you're on the phone navigating insurance and your chest tightens, sit taller, relax your jaw, and repeat your word between sentences. If you're at the stove and a pan sputters, step back, feel your feet on the floor, then go on. You're not trying to be unflappable. You're practicing returning. Returning is enough. Some days, stress arrives in waves. On those days, a gentle timetable can carry you better than willpower. Picture your day like a string with 3 knots: morning, midday, evening. At the first knot, do one thing that wakes your body kindly light at the window: a sip of water, 3 slow breaths, a minute of movement. At the second, Do one thing that connects you, a brief message sent, a hello to someone you see often, even a smile to your own reflection with a "there you are." At the last, do one thing that closes the day, dim a light, tidy a small surface. Write a single sentence about something you noticed. On hard days, the knots hold the string together. On easier days, they fade into the background while you enjoy what comes. It helps to have a small kit ready for stressful moments, and it can be as simple as what fits in a little pouch or a drawer by your favorite chair. A smooth stone or a piece of fabric to touch, a printed photo that makes you breathe easier, a tea bag you love, a short note you write to yourself on a good day. You have done hard things before. A simple prayer or poem on a card, a pair of warm socks, earplugs or gentle music ready to play. These are not trinkets. They are cues to your nervous system, reminders that comfort exists and is reachable without a screen or a trip to the store. When the world feels sharp, your kit softens the edges and buys you the few minutes you need to choose a calmer next step. If you care for someone else, an aging partner, a grandchild, a friend recovering from surgery stress can feel like a constant companion. Let's make one promise that protects your spark. Claim a pocket that's yours each day. Maybe it's the 5 minutes after the kettle clicks or the quiet before the evening news. In that pocket, you are not a caregiver, fixer, or scheduler. You are simply a person who breathes. Close your eyes if you can, feel your weight supported, and breathe with that slightly longer exhale. If guilt taps you on the shoulder, smile at it like an old acquaintance and keep breathing. This small claim of time isn't selfish. It's maintenance, the way you charge a phone so it doesn't die in the middle of an important call. There will be setbacks. You'll snap at someone you love or stay up too late or forget your promise to yourself and spend an hour doom scrolling. When that happens, practice the same kindness you would give a child learning to ride a bike. Notice the wobble, steady the handlebars, start again. One phrase helps. Up to now. Up to now, I've been reacting this way. Today I'll try a slower breath before I answer. Up to now, sleep has been tricky. Tonight I'll dim the lights earlier. Up to now, I've handled news at bedtime. Tomorrow I'll catch up after breakfast. Up to now leaves the door open for change without turning yesterday into a verdict. Let me tell you about a simple moment that captures this. A man in his 70s, we'll call him Min, used to startle awake at 3 in the morning with to-do lists rolling like credits. He tried to force sleep and felt worse. One night, he did something different. He sat up, feet on the floor, placed a hand on his chest, and whispered his words steady. He turned the clock away, did 3 quiet sighs, and read 1 page of a book he knew by heart. When he lay down again, he didn't fall asleep immediately, but the edge softened. He rested. In the morning, he kept his tiny promise of moving for 5 minutes. The next night was similar, and the week after that a little better. Min didn't conquer insomnia. He befriended the night. Over weeks, the 3 a.m. wake-up lost its claws. He still wakes sometimes, but now it feels like a visitor, not a thief. That's what these practices do. They don't erase life. They change your relationship to it, meaning threads through the ordinary like gold through cloth. If you've ever watched a grandchild struggle with a puzzle and resisted the urge to solve it for them, you already know how to sit with tension without making it worse. If you've ever tended a plant through a season when it looked like a stick and were rewarded with leaves, you know patience. If you've ever cooked a simple meal, washed the dishes, and felt the quiet satisfaction of a tidy sink, you know completion. These are not small competencies. They are the very skills that turn stress from a tyrant into a teacher. Each day gives you places to practice. The line at the pharmacy, the wait for results, the memory that shows up uninvited. Breathe. Name what's here, choose one helpful action, and let the rest pass for now. Your future self is closer than you think, and they benefit from tiny gifts you leave today. Put tomorrow's glass by the sink. Lay out the shoes you'll walk in. Leave a cheerful note where you'll see it in the morning. Place the book you want to read on the chair, not the remote. Send the message you've been meaning to send to the friend you miss. These are stones across the creek. Step by step, you reach the far bank without soaking your shoes. And if you slip, you already know what to do. Smile at up to now and step again. Before we part for today, take one breath with me the way we began. Soften your jaw. Let your shoulders drop. Inhale gently through your nose, and let a longer, easy exhale flow out. Feel how even a single breath can tilt the day toward ease. You have everything you need to lower the volume on stress and lengthen the bright part of your years: steady breath, kinder choices, small promises kept, and a heart that knows how to return. If any of this helped, share in the comments one tiny thing you'll do before bedtime or right after you wake. Someone will read it and feel less alone. If you want more conversations like this, you know what to do. Most of all, keep that pocket of calm with you. It fits in your hand, it rides in your breath, and it's yours whenever you ask for it. Here's to the days ahead, quieter, steadier, and wonderfully yours.